अस्सलाम वालेकुम। प्रोग्राम आईना के साथ ताहिर अहमद भट्टी आपकी खिदमत में हाजिर है। आज प्रोग्राम हमने रूटीन के मुताबिक पाकिस्तान की उस सूरत हाल पे करना था जो वहाँ चल रही होती है, लेकिन it is our good luck that today in our studios I have a very precious friend with me, Dr. Ralf Grunwald. He is a cancer specialist and having an experience of 34 years in this field. And welcome, Dr. Grunwald, in our program today.
Good evening. Thank you for inviting me
Thank
to
you so
your
much.
program, and I'm really proud to be a guest in your program since I know how many followers you have all over the world.
Followers, and I don't believe in this phrase followers. They are actually my friends, and they are actually my partners. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So because Dr. Grunwald has worked in a specific field of cancer diseases, and he has a long and thorough experience in this particular field. But as a friend, I know him from quite a good time, and I have known in all these days that he has much interest in many fields around him, starting from the cornfields and starting from the normal fields around his city, and then the different fields of study. What do you think, Dr. Grunwald, that being busy in your particular field and then getting time to be in touch with the society, how do you find it?
Well, it's always been my intention to be informed about political topics of the day, and I'm when I come home, I'm eager to watch the news and television and read the newspapers. I try to read different newspapers from an English one named The Economist to German, the local Frankfurter Allgemeine and Zurich, New Zurich Zeitung. So I try to be informed from every and I'm very much interested in international politics actually right now. What interests most of us is the faked elections in Belarus, with the president Lukashenko driving off all the opponents to different countries, or making the police, the army, beating on the political opponents, and Lukashenko reviving his I don't know if it's a friendship, it's just a partnership with Putin, another dictator or autocrat, like we call it now. And this is something that makes me really angry. And also the way Putin in Russia acts with political opponents, like recently Navalny, who was given poison and who just more by chance was flown out to Berlin, the Charité hospital where I've been trained more than 20 years ago. And always when I see this on television, I'm impressed, because now it seems he can survive this attack. But of course, it's now the political relations between Russia and Germany are very how do you say in English, stressed, because of course Russia tries to make Germany feel bad, and they like to distrust German results of toxicology, which everybody else believes is true. So just to give you an example,
Even about the corona results, they are doubtful.
that's another topic. For example, Russia and Putin, I guess it's 3 weeks ago, announced they have found a vaccination against corona already, before US and UK and Germany and all other 180 studies proposing vaccines against corona are developed. But now everybody knows, at least in the West, that Russia did not do the regular phase 1, 2, 3 studies. They are not able to deliver this vaccine for their population. It's just been a propaganda trick. It seems to me a fake, and nobody believes that. But that's the way they do medicine, and they try to lie to the Russian population.
That's okay. But do you think that this way of thinking or this point of view, uh, it has its basis that long ago you people have started to take the things in a honest perspective, and the world around you, be it Russia, be it America, including UK, so they have their own style of political decision making and policy making. And there, I think the humanitarian approach comes later, and their own interests come primarily. On the other hand, as I have seen in last 6 7 years, the German policy making, today's German policy making, it gives humanity as a first priority, and the other benefits on the second or the third. What do you think?
Well, you may be right. In Germany and in Western Europe and France as well, humanitarian aspects are very important, and but for economic reasons and other reasons for international power
Balance.
balance, Germany not always is able to propagate humanitarian rights in China or in Russia or in Belarus. For example, the support for the opposition in Belarus is rather weak. It could be much stronger, I imagine, but it's rather weak. After all, it's a political movement, and they probably faked the elections over there. And but what can the EU in Brussels, they discuss sanctions, but they discuss it for weeks and months before they really take action, and people there in the streets get beaten and put into jail and driven out of the country, deported. So they could be done much better or much more, I guess. But after all, you were right. Right now, whereas the United States before, under Obama and other presidents, was also an anchor and a power that proclaimed interest in humanitarian politics. Now under Trump, it's gone. They only have these America first.
You know that
Things in their eyes.
this is a exactly I can draw a parallel that in the religious bigotry, they use the name Islam first or Christianity first or our belief first, and then comes anything else. Now drawing the same parallel, from the religious domain to the political domain, there is the America first, the Pakistan first, the Saudi first. So this first thing is something which is unanimously and all over the world. As it is fake in the religious domain, same it is happening in the political domain.
Yeah, but this should be the past. The nationalism should be a thing of the 19th century, maybe. But now, living in the 21st century, there was the hope that this could be overcome. That, for example, but even in the European Union, there's no unanimous conviction for support for immigrants. Like, for example, now the last 2 days we saw on the news the reports from Lesbos in Crete, where the 12,000 immigrants had to burn their immigrant camp
Yeah.
to
As a protest.
as a protest.
Yeah.
And now Germany probably will take some, I don't know, 400 young immigrants without family, and maybe even 2 or 5,000, I don't know. But what about Poland? What about Hungary? What about the other countries that do not
Taking the share, taking the burden.
takes the burden? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the reason why there's no European unity in this regard.
European Union is something else, and behaving like a union, unity, and that is something different, And their point of view, which sometime I listen from somebody when we talk on the same issue, they say that Germany is the economical hub, and they are more strong, they have more resources, they have more. As far as I have known in these 5 6 years, the resources, I don't know there are more resources or not, but the honesty and the tax paying system and tax collection and the honesty with the state money, that is something which is paying to the German society and German political system. I don't know, you are the insider, you are the born German, you can tell me better.
Yeah, but you're talking about the economic strength of Germany.
Yeah.
Yeah, but recently with the Corona crisis, the German state spent so much money to keep the businesses running and
Keep going,
keep
the wheel
going,
going,
and
yeah.
this might be difficult for us in the next few years. Where probably taxes will go up, and there are many small businesses that will have to
Suffer and disturb, yeah.
will suffer and close down, like restaurants, not only restaurants, even in big companies like Lufthansa, the German airline, has big difficulties
in this regard.
in this regard.
But do you think that in the recent history of human development, the crucial and the basic element, the humanitarian approach towards development, I mean, where the humanism is dominating in the decision making, in the long run, it pays or not, even economically?
Well, I hope so.
No,
I know
no.
it's I know you told me that from a Pakistani view or from an outsider's view, the political system in Germany is not corrupt. It's transparent. It's
The level of
a
transparency.
good
Yeah.
example of transparency. And you're right. And I'm lucky. I'm living here in Germany, and I'm proud living in Germany. And there are many examples where I agree with German politics, like how Chancellor Merkel and the German government dealt with the Corona crisis. I guess I would not like to live in another country outside Germany, neither in Europe nor not even in the US. But of course we have political problems in Germany as well, like the far right political party, the AfD.
Yeah.
Alternative for Germany, I guess it's
Alternative.
abbreviated and
By the way,
they-
I'm surprised that Germany really needs an alternative. You can tell me better because you are German, born German, but I think it is just a slogan.
I hope we will never see this kind of alternative, because
If this is the alternative, yeah.
it's very close to
The suicide.
third track.
It is very close to the
Nazism,
suicide, political suicide.
Yeah, also.
Yeah. But you know that the slogan game, it is very easy in the third world countries, particularly in my background. if somebody comes with a slogan and the public is behind, and then sky is the limit for them. But here, as much as slogans you bring, the public critically examines your slogans.
Yeah, you hope so, but
Yeah,
for example, with the Corona crisis,
yeah,
recently, I think it's 2 or 3 weeks ago, there was a big political protest in Berlin with, I don't know, 10,000 people or more protesting against German Corona politics,
yeah.
and protesting for, I don't know, what's they, for so-called freedom of I don't know,
Their rights, exercise of their
freedom
rights.
of
Yeah,
their rights.
yeah.
And they protest without masks, and they deliberately ignore existence of Corona, I guess. And those people, I do not understand. I mean, I really do not understand them, and they are instrumentalized. I don't know the English expression. Instrumentalized by far rightist politics.
I mean, they were manipulated and they were used. They were used by them. Yeah.
Used by them. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what I want to say.
This is something which is very common. The vested interests of some right wing in your country, right wing means different. In my country, right wing means the religious right wings.
Yeah.
So I mean, your people are playing in the same way with the political instruments as our people are playing with the religious instruments. But the game is the same, and the aim is also the same.
That's interesting.
Yeah. But the good luck for your society is that when there are such riots and such noises, there is a sensibility and educational, unanimous educational level, and the educational policy and the public background and public brought up in a certain environment. But in my country, that is lacking. So when there comes the vested interests people with the very attractive slogans, and then hiring the people to play in their hands, then only the real knowledge, the real understanding, in my opinion, maybe that is something which could stop that nonsense. I mean, if people are educated, I mean, the public is educated, only they can stop it. Not the police, not the politician, not the governments. But it needs a peaceful environment in the society.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's something I'm worried about, because in the last couple of years there were quite a few murders and yeah, actually murderers in politicians in high levels were killed by, as it turned out, by how do you say,
you can use your German.
fanatics.
Yeah,
by
that is the same.
fanatics,
Yeah.
often spurned by the political slogans of rightist politicians, but they also from the left. It's, well, it's not like in the 20s in Germany in the 1920s, but it sometimes reminds me of what I read in history books and learned at school about the 20s, when communists and right fanatics went to the streets and had street fights and so on.
Then that was the order of the day in those days. But now the situation is very much different, because
I hope so.
nobody is ready to buy this idea that you hook up the people with the slogan and then take them.
But even in Western countries, the populist parties like in France, Marie Le Pen, and I don't know right now other examples, but in the Netherlands there's this guy. Populist parties gain votes, and they up to 20% or so.
Vote game is common.
So that's quite a many people and votes.
Yeah.
and they get their seats in the parliament.
So the seat is the only seal for them, the destiny for them. They are fighting for that seat.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So why should not they? They should. But the thing is that my point is always this, that when you don't find a politician, a leadership going in the right direction, what you can easily do as a public, as a voter, as a message, you can detach yourself from them, and then they would be alone, because when they are taking you to the hellfire, okay, let them go, and you can stop at when you understand that.
Yeah, but the fear is that they get elected, and once they are elected, they use their power, and they don't care what their voters want or wanted before they were elected.
This is exactly what is happening in my country today. They, our prime minister, he mobilized the people, particularly the youth, and he said that it would be a change, and then what change came is the yesterday, that is all over in the newspapers around the world now, that a woman was raped when she was just waiting for the help.
Yeah, but you,
In the presence
as
of
you
her
say,
kids.
we actually do in Germany. We do not know much about Pakistan. We do not get many news from Pakistan, and even I read a lot of newspapers and so see a lot of news. I only have the impression, well, do you say IS?
Yes, that
Islamic
is not in
State.
Pakistan. Yeah,
No, it's
I
not
mean,
in Pakistan. But what is the name of the other? The from Afghanistan, they moved to Pakistan.
yeah, that happened. That happened. The international press reported, and it was
Yeah, and
yeah.
they tyrannize.
They tried to
Pakistan infiltrate
expand their tentacles in Pakistani lands. Yes, yeah,
It's true.
yeah. But the general trend and the general attitude of our Pakistan public, that is not pro mullah. Mullah
Not pro
means the
mullah.
extremists. Yeah,
Mullah,
that is not pro mullah. Mullah is imposed on them, and then it is supposed that the people would follow that mullahism or extremism.
But I
But
understand the mullahs they but with weapons and with they force
with
their
the force
will
and with the
on
sword,
population.
they want to convert the people. Are like as there is a philosophy that was basically exported from West. First, the Western scholars said the Islam was forced with sword, and on gunpoint people are converted to the Islam. Now they took this idea, and then they found some Muslim scholars also sometime in the history. They also subscribed the same idea, and now there is a quite number of people who really believe that Islam could only be propagated with the sword and gun. So this is not the way, and that's the basic reason, as this Ahmadiyya Muslim community, our community, they don't believe in that kind of propagation of religion with the sword and with on gunpoint. We simply believe that you have only right to give your message. It is up to the listener, up to the audience. Either they subscribe for the idea or they don't subscribe for the idea. You cannot force them to accept your idea. This is the basic difference. That they say that we are the infidels. We are not in that sense. We are not the infidels. In the real sense, we are the fundamentalists, because in the fundamental days of Islam, of the Holy Prophet Sallallahu Muhammad Sallallahu he did not force. He has no force at his command. So the people were converted with message, with the attraction of the message.
But I must say, before I happened to meet you,
Yeah.
I didn't know of Ahmadiyya Islam, so I knew of mullahs and so on long before.
That is the bad luck with Islam, that if somebody does not meet us, he would just learn the mainstream mullah's Islam.
Yeah.
But when they meet us, the other dilemma is that if we present this peaceful aspect and the face of Islam from the back seat, they cut our supply line and they said, no, 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 these are not the Muslims. We have declared them the non-Muslims. So, I mean, this declaring game is also running parallel. So, this is what happens. Abba, very happy to welcome you in this program. This is our very humble initiative, but we are thankful to God that around 34 or 35 countries we have our audience. And as you have seen yourself,
Yeah,
that
I was very impressed.
second highest number is in Germany.
Yeah.
I was also amazed myself that after Pakistan is at number one and number two is in Germany and then Canada and then so it means there are like-minded people around the globe, and um, thank God that we have the people like you, and I am praying for your rapid and successful retirement so that after your retirement we would be engaging you after every week. But now we would also sometime
So
try
now I know what I have to do when I
because I have seen you just reading. You last time came here and gave me the book of Boris Johnson. So I was amazed that this specialist of cancer, how come he is so interested in the biography of a British Prime Minister? But then after many meetings, I found that okay, this is a man. So I propose that once, whenever you get time in a month or whenever in 6 weeks, we would keep addressing and keep sharing our thoughts in a very informal and a casual way with our audience. And thank you for today's conversation. If
Yeah,
you
thank you.
if you
Yeah.
certainly particularly want to say something to my audience in Pakistan, America, Canada, wherever you the the camera and my audience is there. Yeah.
Well, I have to thank you all for listening, and I congratulate you to have such a program that you follow. Thank you.
थैंक यू जनाब, आज के प्रोग्राम के साथ हम इजाज़त लेते हैं। अल्लाह हाफिज़, अस्सलाम वालेकुम।